Hi Virgo. This is a reading for you, sort of from the full moon, 23rd of May. It's a reading on change, and thank you for listening. I hope this helps. The intention with these readings is to unlock something within you that you probably would be helpful for you to hear at this time. So, I'm going to try, come on ants, sorry, I'm in a garden in Italy. I'm on a nice table here, kind of table with holes just in case any of the cards fall down, but I've pre-shuffled your cards quite a lot, and I've done a practice little reading, see what comes out, because it's always interesting to see if something else arrives that's if in the same positions, similar, or the same card. So rather than continuing to shuffle, I'm going to pick them from a fan spread. So first question, this is something I just wrote the other day, this reading, so I haven't learned it yet. So first question is, in what ways is Virgo excelling in their life at the moment? Wonderful. 5 of Wands. And how can Virgo be kinder to themselves? The Magician. And in what areas are there room for improvement for Virgo? Knight of Cups. I'll see these properly in a minute. How can I bypass, or how can Virgo bypass or work with any resistance they have to improving their situation at the moment? That's interesting. Oops. 7 of Wands. 4 more to go. What message is there to lessen any fear that you might have to change, Virgo? 9 of Cups. And what image can I work with? Sorry, what natural qualities or assets do you have to support yourself at the moment, Virgo? Ace of Wands. And what image could you hold in your mind, almost like a sort of vision board that might help you for the next week or so? Just kind of stay on course. Ace of Swords, 2 aces right next to each other. Nice. And what's the best version of yourself that you're here to be? Or what is it that you're here to overcome right now? 8 of Wands. And this one was also moving. No, I'm not going to take that. That doesn't seem relevant. Right. So, 8 cards on the table. We have 2 aces right in the middle at the top. And it's quite wandy with a bit of cups. There's no pentacles here other than on the Magician's table. So the first card for you at the moment is the 5 of Wands, and this shows a bunch of children with their wands having a game, but they're really competing hard and they're having a laugh doing it. And I don't know about you, I'm really competitive when I play board games. It's sort of, it's not really like my normal personality, or is it? I don't know. But I love that feeling of just sort of taking all the worrying about everyone else and just going for it because it's a game and it doesn't matter. So that's the kind of state that you're in at the moment. As I look down at this, I'm seeing one of the children in the foreground has a little hat on him, which I think might be you, because he's got his red outfit and his little hat, orange hat. I don't know if that relates to anybody. and he's very centre of the foreground, and he looks quite determined. When I did the practice run, you came out as the King of Wands, who is a red-headed, determined, entrepreneurial type. Oh, did I say I was in a garden? Yeah, that's why I'm sitting kind of slightly left of the screen, because I'm trying to stay behind a tall thin tree, because otherwise I'm going to be squinting at you, because it's early it's morning, so the sun's in my eyes. And that, if you can hear it, is a cow in the neighbouring farm. So you're in a sort of determined, quite a kind of wandy, fun, competitive state of mind at the moment, or being, which is lovely. And to sort of further emphasise that we've got the Magician coming next as how you can be kinder to yourself. So I would suggest, you know, there he is, pulling down all that wonderful energy, bringing it into material form. He's got every one of the suits represented on his table. He's wearing that red cloak, like that little kid in the first card that represents you, I think. And how can you be kinder to yourself? You know, embrace where you're at the moment. Realise that it's not just child's play what you're doing. It's important. Maybe elevate your level of intensity, or certainly elevate the way you're thinking about what you're competing for, and realize how important you are, and give yourself props for being this kind of master creator, and don't trivialize what you're doing, and don't apologize for it. Be more you, really, or where you're at the moment. You can create a lot with the Magician, and with all that fiery competitive energy. I love it. And then the next position is, in what areas is there any room for improvement in your life? And it's the Knight of Cups. So he's a lovely knight. He's got the second slowest horse, and he's not quite Knight of Pentacles, but he's on quite a sort of, his horse almost looks like it's doing a bit of a kind of dance, like in one of those shows where horses are, what's it called, dressage? Maybe? I'm not a horse person. And he's a very he's slightly naive, really, the Knight of Cups, but he's very romantic. As you can see, he's offering his Grail cup to someone or something. So if there's an area of improvement, and he's got these wings on his helmet indicating air, but I also want to say Hermes when I look at them. So for you, maybe you're so sort of stuck in this kind of creative, dynamic, not selfish, but, you know, sort of, you're really thinking about yourself. Maybe as an area of improvement, think about where you want to offer what you're creating, or who else you want to take along for this ride. Or look for a lovely offer. Don't be naive about it if it's coming. You know, the way I read it first is probably the right way, I would have thought, unless I return to this in a minute. I think about who you want to bring along, or who you can serve with your wonderful creative fire, because that will make it even more satisfying for you. And number 4, how can I bypass or work with any resistance I have to improving my situation? We have the 7 of Wands. It's funny because he really kind of pairs well with the 5 of Wands. I mean, they're not dissimilar. He's an adult in this situation. He's on the higher ground. Today I'm seeing him with his hair kind of slightly blowing, and I was looking at this card yesterday in quite detail. I was just kind of contemplating it, because it came out when I was thinking about how one protects oneself from other people's energies, interestingly, and it came out. And I sometimes like to play a game. I'm here with my boyfriend at the moment, where I show him the card and say, what do you see? And I don't tell him what he's reading on. And he's not a tarot reader, but he's very intuitive, and he's quite smart. And he said he's building a wall, which made me laugh because I've never seen the character doing that at all. Like, he saw it as he's planting that last stick in there to create a wall, which would suggest boundaries. And it was perfect for what we were talking about yesterday. But really, the traditional reading of it is you're on higher ground. We don't know who's holding those sticks and who you're fighting off, but you are maintaining the higher position. It's potentially quite tiring, but you are in charge, and you are also using that same energy that we saw in the first card of the Five of Wands, which is very dynamic, competitive, fiery, strong. You've not got any kind of self-censorious, I better not, going to be all, you're really going for it. And so just lean in, I would say, when it's asking you how to bypass any resistance you have to working with improving your situation. I would say kind of elevate yourself. That little kid is now up on higher ground, and he's potentially there's one more assailant if we were taking it as a progression from the 5, but he's beating them. The other thing about this card is that he's wearing 2 different shoes. Can you see? So it indicates that you're kind of a little bit harassed. Oh my God, I'm having to fight off all these different things. And so a piece of advice would be organize yourself, get your systems in place, prepare for the following day if you've got a lot on, and be so prepared. If it means laying your clothes out the day before so you know what you're doing, or before a meeting if you're worried about what you're going in, that you've got your own back, and then you'll feel less worried about this change because you'll feel in full control with your systems, with your way of making things work, and it won't feel as overwhelming, which I think could be the only resistance that you might be feeling at the moment, because you're in a very dynamic energy. But of course, once you unleash that fire, the result sometimes can be oh my lord, fire's quite uncontainable. So we need to give you some containing practices that mean that you can still lean in and go with this competitive, dynamic, creative space that you're in. And number 5, what message is there to lessen any fear or anxiety of change that you might have? And we've got the 9 of Cups, which is sometimes a wish fulfilled. And he's certainly a bon vivant. And I guess the message from him is, come on, just once you've achieved this, there's going to be good times. There's going to be some fun to be had. It's funny, what I'm saying today is he's sitting quite like the Queen of Wands with his legs open. She's the only queen that has that kind of slightly sexy, masculine stance. Not that he's particularly sexy, but he's certainly happy. So I think what this card is counselling you, if you have any fear or anxiety about change, is just focus on the moment of celebration when you achieve what you're aiming for. Just keep your eye on that prize, which is what we say about these characters. They're in it to win it, and they've got their eye on the prize. So just keep thinking about that moment when it all comes to fulfillment and you feel, lovely and successful in whatever you've achieved. And then what natural qualities or assets do I have to support me? Again, another wand. So wandy. Ace of Wands. This is amazing. A wonderful new start. It's so sort of phallic. It's so dynamic. It's this fire of inspiration that's being handed to you. You are really inspired at the moment. You are really stepping into this position of you're being offered something, and I think your energy is matching it perfectly, and those little yods of the little leaves as they're falling off, they're blessings. What else am I saying here? There's a mountain in the background, calm water in the foreground. The way that it's being grasped is really powerful. I mean, it's almost like this is the hand. That powerful hand is like the children's hands and the Seven of Wands hands. You know, you're in full command really as a natural asset that you've got going on, or quality you've got going on at the moment. You're really able to wield your creativity and your fire, and you've got a strong grasp on it. So that's absolutely wonderful. And then right next to it, they kind of look cute together, because it's like two hands. It's like God's reaching down, or the creator or the goddess or whatever is reaching down, or the universe reaching down with both hands, kind of giving you a choice, or saying, have you got both hands free? This is the position of the card is, what image can I work with to keep in mind in the next, to inspire me in the next days? Well, what an inspiring image. I mean, I particularly like it with both. You know, if you could, I mean, you're probably, as we see you at the moment, you don't have many hands free, but you are being offered, in that Ace of Swords, a wonderful, incisive, new mindset, a new way of seeing life, a very clear, there's no sense of victim. This is the sword that would unbind you if you were stuck in a kind of, in the Eight of Swords, where she's bound and her eyes are covered and it looks like she can't move. We'd use this to untie you, and it's just lovely. It's the only sword on the table, but maybe you could think about screenshotting this and thinking about what you're being offered at the moment. Grasp this, you know, if you've got a new idea, if you're working with new energies, thoughts, creative projects, drives, just go for it. You're being given so much in terms of kind of natural energy at the moment, and this just looks lovely. And finally, what's your best version of yourself that you're here to overcome or embody at the moment? Well, this is certainly embodying. It's saying, it's like a stress or a highlight on all this kind of incredible wandy energy that we've got going on. You know, just fly with these wands. They are about to land where all your intentions need them to be, and you are very firmly focused on a destination, and it's coming down to land somewhere, and it's just that everything's aligned. I mean, it's interesting because the 5 and the 7 have all those wands in different areas, but you know, align all of that energy, bring it all into its focus on what you want. This is the version of yourself. Now, it could also be about social media, messages, emails, letters, writing. It might be that this is your new creative project. You might be creating something, a kind of message to the world. It's about communication, and communicating clearly, and it's fast. So do it now. Harness all this energy now. Don't leave it. What a lovely reading. I'm very pleased for you. Your practice reading was equally lovely. So I know that this is, whoever's watching this is in a good space. And if you're not in a good space, maybe just try and imagine, you know, that idea of, you know, when you write gratitude lists, I've had extraordinary experiences with it before, where even straight after my father died when I was in my 20s, I started the practice. That was when I've been most consistent with it. I'll start doing it again. It was amazing. You could have a kind of terrible day, and then start listing. I'm gonna have to stop in a minute. Have to start listing all the things that were going right. If you give yourself that that discipline. And God, it's amazing. Even under the worst circumstances, with the most sadness, we are blessed. I mean, I can't speak for everyone. There are awful things going on in the world, but we are blessed. We always have blessings, and it's certainly never a bad idea to focus on what we have as resources. So however stressful, look around at what you are being gifted and try and connect. And I don't feel you're feeling stressed when I look at this reading, but if you are somebody who's watching it, seems to be available for you at the moment. Get into that 1D position and think about what you want to create and communicate and how you want to compete and how much fun that could be. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you soon.